Live. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to DevKami number 209, which I think is a prime number. And
Is
welcome
it?
back, Chiliang.
Yep, it's
It's
the
his
first time.
first year. Yeah, it's the first time of the year he come. Almost at April.
It's
So
not a
that being
prime
said,
number.
really it's not
It's not.
la, la, la,
You can.
18,
I
29,
asked
20.
Google.
Oh, okay. I think it's 7. Oh, 7. It might be
Not
7.
really.
Huh? It might be a factor of 7. Okay, that being said, no, actually it's
Seven.
19. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
It's a factor of 19. 19 squared. What the hell am I thinking? So that being said, let's start with, so how's everything? Anything interesting? If you
Usual.
don't want to,
Just
just,
busy with life.
yeah,
I
that
just enroll
happens.
for the online courses, and before we went live, I'm going through the orientation.
Correct. So Chiliang is,
Guess what?
I'm
The introductory the in- the introductory courses were I think swimming gonna hate it. I just
yeah,
checked the manifest. They
yeah.
are conducted in JavaScript,
Ugh,
and then the
ugh.
advanced one are gonna be in C++. So
Okay, C++
still,
makes sense, right? C++ makes sense. Actually, C++ would be the perfect, C
I
and
think
C++ would be,
I'm more of a fan of Python than JavaScript as a beginner
yeah,
language. But it doesn't
yes.
matter.
Yeah, you get things done. It's just that the way to express algorithm is actually very weird in JavaScript. Actually, it's not too
Yeah.
bad. Actually, if you stick with core language
No,
without all the async,
I
it
I
should be
have
fine.
issue with undefined.
Yeah, that's the only thing, right? But JavaScript if you just use core language itself, you can do whatever you need to do. The
I think it's
problem,
I think it's looser. That's why it's understandable. It's easier to get started with.
correct, correct. I don't agree with it as a beginner language, but you know
No
what? A lot of people
fun.
started with it,
Yeah.
and it shows. It shows because it's a good thing and bad thing. Good thing is the culture of JavaScript is you just jump in and you were able to start to do whatever you need to do. And you also, as a result, because of the library out there, you kind of absorb the culture almost immediately. Uh, Dynamic language have this problem. The only exception is when you have somebody that go through a dynamic language from a lower level language, C and C++. People go up. You don't see that, but arguably people that go from C and C++ are also more senior.
I
But
think the
then,
barrier. I would say the we can give JavaScript the credit of it can run anywhere. The barrier of
correct,
entry is lower, so let's set up.
yeah, correct. But I guess that sometimes I just cannot express algorithm in JavaScript as well. I'm saying that it's possible. It's a Turing complete language, but it's just not something that I used to. But then I use Python a lot. Arguably, arguably
Yeah,
also a
I think
Python. Uh-huh.
the issue with Python is also the setup of the environment. We should understand.
Correct. Correct. So that being said, let's start with actually start with event. Next week is of course will be
Nothing
Tuesday.
happened.
Yeah. Otherwise
We
nothing
have
happen.
we have a C++ meetup going on right now, or it's just
Oh
finished.
yeah, just finished. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, because they do not use C-lang, otherwise they can call the Clang Rally meetup. But they use C++, so not necessarily C-lang, right?
yeah.
Otherwise, you call it the Clang Rally meetup. Unfortunately, it's not my thing. So yeah lah. Otherwise, life is boring. Except we do have a lot of news happening.
Yeah,
Then
the
after that,
typo
oh, we do have type. I
got the
know. For
more
some reason, I already commit there
got the
just now. For
move
some reason, oh, I
those
did.
move.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't push yet. Oh, whatever. Whatever. Push origin master.
It might
Oh
be
yeah,
too
there's a
early, but
news about that.
Moore's law dies with Gordon Moores.
Yeah, correct. Oh yeah, that's a typo as well. Let's start with the news. We had a lot of talk about because I want to find time to talk about my book that I bought,
Yeah,
which
so
I've
we
been
want to
playing.
show
I
off
really love it.
this new flashy toy.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I do have another toy. I actually bought I actually bought a Nintendo DSi screen because I need to fix my screen. So let's start with the first one. TM Unify is offering 2 GB fiber broadband very soon.
You know that doesn't represent anything. What's the upload
No,
speed? Because
correct.
after a certain speed, the downstream doesn't matter anymore.
Correct. It really doesn't matter that much because as I concerned, I was at a 500 megabit plan. Uh, so and it's fine because even though everyone is using media, I got like 5 siblings, which is a bit rare, but it just don't take up that much. It just
You know what's
it's
fun? What's
fine.
fun is is like gigabit requires a pretty beefy
Yeah,
hardware to support as
correct,
well. So
correct.
last time, like my building is using Time.
Mhm.
So Time, they started offering gigabit speed for quite a while now,
Yeah, correct.
and
But it doesn't.
it's very frequent that I see my neighbors complain about how they cannot reach the speed. Of course, it is.
Yeah,
You can't. You need the
because
hardware.
correct. So yeah lah, but it happens. The implication unclear, but I don't think it's mattered that much other than the fact you couldn't
Upstream
show
is,
off.
if it's about creator, is the what upstream matter.
Correct, correct. So yep. I apologize to Gordon Moore, but Gordon Moore passed away at 94 years old. He is the people that discovered Moore's law, which arguably is not a law; it's an observation,
Is he part of the
right?
gang? The what gang again?
Yes, he is. He is one of the founder of Intel, and so there's a whole story for it. Uh, so there is a whole story of the founding of Intel. Let me quickly find it.
They came
Intel,
from it was
Texas
a bunch of
Instrument, I believe.
doctorate that worked for another
So
doctorate.
it's no, they actually works for Texas Instrument, I believe.
I remember they're from a gang of what I forgot,
Yeah.
which they got
So
a Nobel Prize for previously.
correct. They're part of the people that actually got the Nobel Prize for the creation of integrated circuit. Nobel Prize, integrated circuit. Okay, you know what? I should do this, right? Let's let me see whether my friend is available. I don't think so. Oh, it's here. Very cool. You can see this, right? Let me hide a bit. Tell me about the history of the founding of Intel Corporation, right? That is founded in 1968. Fairchild Semiconductor, this is the one. Then I'm going to ask another question. So they actually created there's a whole story for that as well, but let them finish first. They literally write the whole story.
Oh, Traitorous. It's called the Traitorous 8.
Yeah, Treacherous 8. They actually left
Gordon Moore is one of them.
Fairchild, correct. Treacherous 8 is the Fairchild set from, yeah. So tell us about the Treacherous 8, right? Treacherous 8. So there's a whole history
No,
for it.
it's not treacherous, it's traitorous. Yeah.
Yeah, here. So yeah. William Shockley is actually they found semiconductor, then they left again.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Traitorous 8, right? Let me
Traitorous. Yeah, Traitorous.
Traitorous 8. Oh my goodness. This is why they're lying. Yes.
They left Shockley and then founded Fairchild.
Then after that, they left again and found Intel, right? Yeah, see, do not rely on ChatGPT too much, but probably it will work better with Bing.
It's a Muse. It's not an Oracle.
Yeah, correct.
It helps you to write, but it's not. Do not treat what it's saying as truth.
Correct. I do have an Outlook account. Don't judge me. It probably works better with Bing. It probably work better with Bing, but unfortunately, I need to authenticator. Which one? This one.
I can help you with that. Give me the seat.
Yeah. 66. Approve. Mhm. Okay, cool. So, yep, looks good. Oh my goodness, shit! You see my telephone?
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't care. Yes, but I want. Don't get me. Oh, okay. You try to get me here. Oh, I need to use.
You have
I
to
need
use
to use.
H.
Yeah, I need. Oh no, that's not
Oh,
necessary.
okay.
Tell me about the traitorous or treacherous. Learn to use the wrong one. Or the
Traitorous.
traitorous 8.
But you know how T we gonna soften as ch anyway.
Yeah.
Like
English.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I think what happened is I only work. It only worked for. Uh,
But it's
Microsoft
just a
Edge. Oh
sample,
well.
like some of the keyword,
Yeah.
the
Correct.
keyword bubble.
Correct. It's not available on Linux next time after this. So that being said, Gordon Moore actually had a very colorful professional story because okay, so let's start with William Shockley Semiconductor. William Shockley actually, I believe, comes from Bell Lab. I'm going to bet he's from Bell
Bell Lab.
Labs. See, he's from Bell Lab. From there, he actually won a solid state physicist that created the.
I remember he won a Nobel Prize and then
Correct.
gonna commercialize it.
Correct.
But he's such a hard fellow to work with.
As a result, so he come out, then he found completely shortly. Then what happened then is he left. Then the shortly this. Then from there they actually created these.
We have
guys
Moore's Law
actually,
before Intel.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
More on that. Okay, one step at a time. The history of semiconductor. The history of semiconductors started with World War II. We're going to skip a lot of that. But one of the things they try to do is how to replace. They find very interesting behavior in semiconductor, which they're going to use amplifier. From there, they actually go further and make a transistor, right? At Bell Lab. Then William Shockley actually left and created a company, Shockley Semiconductor. But then the Traitorous 8 actually from Shockley comes up with a new company called Fairchild Semiconductor. Fairchild Semiconductor still exists, but they go further. And they found Intel, right? And from Intel, then it's the start of the PC, but they did not start from there because one of the things that Intel does that very useful for the PC industry is because
I think the early days Intel will focus on memory chips, right?
Correct. They only focus on memory chips precisely. So, but then there is a business coming in that need a single chip computer, so to say. So there's a 4044 for a calculator. Then after that, they upgrade a bit. The PC microprocessor essentially comes from a calculator circuit. The Intel 4040, yep, here. So this is 4-bit. After that, they upgrade to 8008, which you can use to make a computer. So this is the first one. This is actually the first single chip computer they actually use. This is actually one of the microprocessor. Then from there, it evolved into 8008, which is used for PC, right? So yeah, Gordon Moore is one of the people cut with the colorful history that actually form the basis of personal computing, right? Personal computing. And he also discovered Moore's law, which is an observation, not a law. And yeah lah. So rest in peace. Thanks for your contribution. And anything you want to add? If not, we're gonna move on. No. Yeah, Intel. It's a whole history, right? They do SRAM memory circuit until 1980. Then they create the first microprocessor chip. We have not success until the PC, right? So whatever happened now, so recently Intel had a downturn for a very good reason. Actually, Intel goes a downturn for a while. It's actually run by MBA, which I may not like Elon Musk, but he's right in a way that you focus only on how MBA run business, you will not get good engineering company. It's the same for Boeing.
They used to call
actually.
it the accountants run businesses.
Correct.
They're
So
gonna
either
just
way,
downsize everything and just cut things off.
Correct. So what one of the thing is it's only recently Intel gained back the engineer. Whether they will survive, I do not know, because they're already they're out of the 5G modem business recently, for example. So who knows what happened.
One thing is that one thing
uh-huh.
about company, especially technology company, is that you have to keep the reputation fresh
Correct.
because they need to attract talents. So if Intel somehow equates with boring company with boring things to do, they are gonna
Correct.
have issue attracting people
But
that want to do things.
correct. But and also recently they have a string of failures, so to say. For example, their entry to the GPU market is a failure. They had to withdraw the product. They had to cancel few development, and their CPU is not competitive in pricing, etc. So, but on the other hand, I believe Intel will survive. On what basis? They're big enough company with a lot of money. They'll survive for a while.
Still, they still have the capital, the old money.
Correct. So unlike most people say that they will die, they will not die. They have the money. That's the most important thing.
Just don't
So I'm
waste
going
it.
to move on.
Don't just go. Don't just tilt and keep losing money over.
Correct. So it's hard to say what will happen in the future because they have a new engineer running the company now, engineer background, CEO with an engineer background. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to give another one. A few weeks back, Professor Lampo actually passed away, and his second half that create the
Yep.
ZIF algorithm also passed away a few days ago.
Impulsive.
Yep, the Lampo ZIF algorithm, which is actually a basis of TAR, I believe. So yeah, rest in peace. Thanks for your contribution. Because
still very widely
algorithm,
used, and
correct.
Most of the newer algorithms are still pretty much based on it.
Based on that,
They're the
precisely.
giants.
Correct. So yeah, so this happened. I'm going to move on. This one. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. There is ways where generative language use is I cannot agree with. For example, totally replace people at a creative work. For that, fine. If you want to create, fine. But
it's fine by me actually. Is that?
But if you're going to do the boring work, that I can agree, right? Unfortunately, for many
it's
people,
fine by me as well. If we just want something that run of the mill, look pretty much similar to what we have,
yeah,
but it's not gonna innovate. It's gonna do a very, especially like in the case of like DAWI for image.
Yes,
it's not gonna create new kind of arts.
Correct. Right.
But
you need to evolve.
But if you one run of a mill, an asset for your website or something like that, it's gonna be able to provide that.
Correct. So there's consequences, but that being said, there is case where I can agree with that. In this case, BuzzFeed shows a way for you to for a company to go to that. One is instead of replacing employees like some does, this is a tool. So for the employees, give it to the creative one. So instead of replacing them, they actually go with them, which is why for some reason I just didn't hear BuzzFeed while using this fire people, unlike clean up mess like uh,
If your job can be easily
ZD Night,
replaced.
right? Correct. So in this, yeah, so they can actually, if you think about it,
You,
BuzzFeed
you know,
can replace
2 years
the
ago, I
writer.
actually listened to a podcast episode, but I forgot
Yep,
which podcast it is. Is that
yep,
it's where they have several fiction authors
yep,
came together and talk about not that was before ChatGPT. It was just about GPT,
yep,
and they were even for them is that they were amazed and sort of some of them secretly use them as a inspiration,
correct.
like
That's
generate
fine.
is yeah as
Yeah,
something.
but
If you're stuck on a certain idea, is that it just
correct.
give you another perspective.
So, correct. But what I can't agree on is it's about consent, so to say. So if you're going to use it to replace author, like some people, some of the okay, there's a group of hustle bros that would essentially like, yeah, just use this, create a story and make some quick bucks, right?
Yeah,
That I
it's a
cannot agree
tabloid
with.
style posting. Then yeah,
Yeah, that I can agree. If you're going to use it to empower yourself, that I can, or use it for boring tasks, same thing. So in this case, they throw it, they actually give it to their tools. And also, there's a few key points here that's interesting. Instead of replacing authors, I'll give to them. Second is there's collaboration because these tools are not perfect yet. Do not treat that as treat the tools
they are
as
not
your
replacing authors because all
correct.
these are trained on historical records.
Correct. Yeah, but people do
They're not
attempt
going to
to.
be able to create new fascinating things.
Well, let's see how it goes, right? Because there
Yeah, let's
is
see how it goes.
attempt all the
But
time.
that's my point of view.
Yeah.
It's even
So
if new things is that it can still be a derivative of existing work.
correct. So what happened then is really there's company that use this because it's just around the mill and just it's a tool to get quick. We know the theory, but the way some business run are not. Let's say there is assholes in the business, okay, that would try to use this to replace people. So that happens. Uh, do they think long? Yeah, you see, a lot of business don't really think long. So either way, I think this is a good article in a way that they ground the capabilities of what these tools can do, and provides actionable step that you can use and caveat and how do you ground this product into tools that your team can use. So I think this is a very good article. So yeah, let's move on. Wrong tab. Golden model, the open source. This one. So do you know that? Do you know that OpenAI actually have the platform dot OpenAI? They actually have a series of product. One of them is actually called text completion. It's obvious, right? Because that's what Copilot use. So this is an open source version, so to say. Open source in a way that the source code and models is available, but it won't be easy to run because this is designed to run on Hugging Face. So in short, you just create a Docker image, this one, then put it on a background. You can run it on yourself, but you can need a GPU as usual. But yeah, open source, I like it. At least alternative, so that you don't have one company dominate the whole market. That being said, if you want something that is more trusted, of course you have these guys, OpenAI. But if you want something more long term, you have this lah, Basaran, one of many open source initiatives. What I do not know is what model they use. I don't think they use Llama.
I think
Or
I think the most important thing, especially for AI, is that the model you have.
yep. So let's see what models we have. There's plenty of those nowadays because if you go to one of the hot topic on Hugging Face is actually you have not just this. You actually have things like I try to find a cool one, but I can't find here. One of the thing that one of the thing I recently found on Hugging Face is that really sell the idea that you can customize an alternative model that is not OpenAI. Let me actually I do follow Hugging Face. There's a reason why they call Hugging Face because previously they use transformer model to actually convert to do word to emoji translation. Then there's stuff from there that create the whole thing out of it. So yeah, Hugging Face. Okay, here you are. So one of the posts that we recently like to do is how do you use Hugging Face to provide to do text lah. So for example, run your own large language models on Hugging Face, which I think is very cool. So Hugging Face, they do not create models; they run they create infrastructure. And yeah, this is another one. Flan 5, this is from Google. Then how do you run it on the model? So yeah, I like it. I like the idea because they have options. They have options for people to do things now, and these make things more sustainable. So, for example, what if OpenAI dies? Who knows, right? So yeah, this happens.
It shouldn't matter. Is that because the
Correct.
Pandora box is already open?
Correct. In theory, if you're going to wait, then somebody will build it. But it's just how long it is, lah. So anything you want to talk about before we go on?
No.
Okay. Then I'm going to talk about some big news that I found later. We had a few cool NLP use. The large language model use here. For example, there's a SQL translator. I'm going to show you one by one. So this is one of those things where it's useful. Okay, so this one. So
I'm
recently,
a Copilot user.
but
I missed this one.
No, it's not out for everyone yet. So it's on the wait list. So you get chat capability, so that you can do stuff. You get a better model for text. You can do a pull request, so they will generate a pull request.
I'm not sure. Did you use Copilot, Suki?
I only recently used it, but for some reason,
I actually use it to I'm not contributing my because there's an option to go off contributing to the global training set.
And also not I use that.
And also not autocomplete from other repos. So I actually turn them off as well. It's these two options are there. So I turn them off and it will just complete based on my code. So I don't have some of the issues that people mentioned, like secrets being auto-completed for me.
Yeah. I will have that for a stupid reason. We have bad coding.
And also, especially for JavaScript, I don't want to see other people's JavaScript code.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And I don't have that yet, but I do have.
What's new? The prompt.
Okay, so the new thing here is you got ChatGPT like experience. Copilot for pull request. It will help you create a pull request. So they will generate everything that you did and all that.
Does it auto-complete my commit? Auto-complete my commit log as well?
Then they will generate tests. Interesting for me because our test is a bit sucky for now. And also in some environment, we have tests in both. For example, in Rails, we have tests in RSpec and both the the Ruby tests. So we have both of those. I do not know how they will do this. Then what else do I look at? JavaScript, our test is a bit horrible, but at least just. So in theory, it should be okay, I suppose. In theory, in practice, I do not know. Okay. Then they generate answer from documentation. But no, this is thing that they're going to do. So for now, this is the big thing you're going to get lah. Other than big language model to help you code better, for example, they're planning to do like AI answer for documentation, then internal documentation, then how they're going to improve pull requests, then the Copilot for CLI. I do not know how it works yet,
Oh yeah, I
but
will learn to try it out.
yeah. Then yeah lah. So do I get it? Probably, but currently on a wait list. So yeah. So let's see how it goes, right? Because things are interesting because I think we have a lot of mess
It's
lah.
gonna change how we do things a little bit.
Yeah, something
For
llama.
say for the better, at least.
Yeah, probably. I can't tell yet. Probably. So in our stuff, we also had a prompt engineering.
Mm.
Interesting because there's an open AI codebook. The actual codebook, I think we shared that before.
Yep, and the Stable Diffusion one and the DAWI one as
Yep.
well.
Sorry, I literally just did my what oh, I did my Ring Fit adventure. Still kills me at times. So this article that show you how to do prompt engineering. I do want to try some of this because what I care about is information extraction. So whether there's enough information in certain document, that's one. But another thing I want is, okay, it's not part of the whole thing yet. Whisper supposedly able to understand speech. So I want to use this to generate our own transcript and do some weird shit with it. I do not know how yet. Okay. I do not know how yet. Or maybe if none of you guys around, probably I'm just going to interview ChatGPT and see how it goes. So yeah, prompt design. This is very useful. If this is one of the hot thing nowadays. I'm going to look at this one of these days. So have you tried any of those other than
Not really,
Clear?
just
Yeah. And also I do not know how to use this in Copilot yet, but yeah, you got the whole prompt
we have no
engineering
prompt
doc here.
yet for Copilot. But you know,
Yep.
how we normally use Copilot, me and Han,
Yeah.
is that we write the command.
Uh-huh.
Then
And
often, not really all the time, but for Go is pretty accurate.
I
Often
think
they
for
autocomplete pretty well for us after we explain what we want to do.
yeah, so maybe I try that, but so far I don't have project that I need to
It
write new
depends on the
code though.
language. If it can analyze and also it knows the in and out of the type, then it's often strict type language.
Yeah, no, I got feeling it would work for my other project in a way that Ruby, Python, and JavaScript is a widely talked about language. As a result, it will be part of the training set. So in theory, it will work well. In practice, I do not know. To be honest, in practice, I do not know now. But ooh, they got a lot of stuff. Okay, let's move on. This one, I know people do not know SQL. So this is a tool to generate SQL from what you want.
Not bad.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing in a way that a lot of people do not know how to write SQL nowadays, and you don't have to be honest. So you, but it helps for you to do the work better. But nowadays, computer are fast enough. Probably do not need it until really need it. So yeah, this is one of those things that helps you do your work. And also SQL is one of those. What the hell is this? Oh, it's 209. Yeah, just change the page. Get rid of it. So SQL is also one of those very weird platformer because it's all encompassing. If especially you use things like Oracle. So the whole reason why database admin exists is because you do everything in SQL and you have particular way to think about SQL operation, right? The SQL operation. So for example, to optimize thing, you should not use select star, you should select certain column. Then
Mm.
you think you need to add index. Then
To
there's
join
particular,
properly.
yes, there's a particular way for you to do your operation. Then to do admin, you actually you mess around with the system tables. You see that in PostgreSQL when you create user, for example, set user permission and all that. It's all encompassing. So I get it if SQL is too weird. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Anything to add? If not, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on because this one. So this is another reason why I do agree on why you should try to use these tools, AI tools, because they can search your internal document if you do it properly. But often if you do not do properly, then in theory this will work well as well. So you can search for internal document, troubleshoot issue if you document it and whatnot.
Mm. I'm
So
gonna show you
yeah,
something. Is that
yep.
I'm actually trying to play with a few prompts just now.
Okay,
So
let me think. Okay.
so like give me an SQL to insert people with name, age, and
Okay,
document ID.
John. Okay, there is two table. Now, given there's two table,
No,
use
wait. Create table.
yep, yep,
Give me in Postgres.
yep,
So I want a document associated with person. Give me the foreign table.
yep. Go on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yes, but I would need to add all sort of other thing as well, but
No, I mean, as
it
in
will work.
is as a learner tool or as a
Yeah.
uh, if we can, if there are tools to help. I think the next thing is that we're gonna write tools to help us generate
Mm-hmm.
prompts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it happens. Okay, let's move on a bit more. There's not that many news, so maybe I'll go and find something else real soon. But let's see how many thing I can mine. So internal tools, very useful. This one is also interesting. Actually, this is actually one of my idea in my final year project in university, which is to use natural language to generate Unix command. I didn't implement that, but yeah, it can work. So this is actually to generate repo. This is used for repo, not just Unix command, but it helps. Like it actually they do autocomplete, and you can use command like you do and generate code and whatnot. So use GPT-4 and all that. So yes, this is actually I like this because this can potentially be the user interface. Not complete yet, as you can see, but it's possible to use this. This will be one way you will interact your system in the future. Maybe you can get it to open the port bay door for once. So yeah, lah. Another thing about AI. Then another one, where the hell it
Intro.
is? I'm trying to find the command line, NLP shell.
No.
Oh crap! I copied the wrong link. I'm an idiot. Oh, I forget it. So yeah, lah. Those are everything about everything. Oh, this is how you can train it for now. So this one is using Llama. Still very slow, but it's getting there. At least there's a availability lah. Then the last thing I want to talk about is this one. Apparently, this exists.
X.
Black market GitHub Star. Why I do not know. You can buy fake one. They actually detect it, able to detect it. I find it very interesting. Why I do not know, but it is what it is. So create report. So this is a whole data set for you to find fake GitHub Star. I don't. Probably it's for recruiting, but I do not know for sure.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
became. I don't know. It's just. I don't know why. Since when GitHub star became a metric.
correct. Then another one is this is a Python-based tool to generate HTML. Still do not make me.
It's the web
Still do
dream.
not.
It's the web dream of all of everyone since forever. Like remember, like the
Correct.
Google Web Toolkit. We tried
Correct.
to do it
Correct.
with
So what happened? Yeah, Google Web
Dreamweaver.
Toolkit. So what happened then is for some reason in the early days of the web, you got people that Java programmer that will not learn JavaScript, for example. They
We
actually come
hate
from
to write.
Swing and all that.
Yeah, we hate to write
Uh-huh.
HTML and JavaScript so much that we over the years there
Correct.
were so many tools to
Correct.
to I mean to get us off writing HTML
Correct.
directly.
So GWT is one of those. Then Microsoft have one called Copia. You still have to do some HTML in .NET, but that happens as well.
Flash, Adobe Flex.
Flash, yeah, Flex, that happened. Then Silverlight, those are replacing JavaScript runtime and everything, right?
Yeah,
That died out, so everything is JavaScript
yeah,
now. Then
JavaScript killed them.
Goes to use WASM, which is a somewhat binary thing like Flash and all that, right? What else happened? Yeah, then this happens again. So via replace I do not know, but you had option
Oh, and
now,
also
I suppose.
the hit recently is Flutter. Flutter have their own renderer for web as well.
Yeah, Flutter have
Not
their own renderer.
not involving HTML.
Correct. And if you do data science, then Streamlit have their own thing as well, but it doesn't generate a static site. It's a full package
One
thing.
day, one day it'll come where we no longer have to write
Yeah,
HTML.
maybe one of those days they're going to replace JavaScript with PyScript, right? I don't think so. People will just complain like white
It's
space.
possible. It's actually possible it wasn't.
I know because PyScript already is there, right? No, PyScript is running WASM. PyScript exists because of WASM. But will it be one of the alternative runtime? I do not possible, but I doubt
It's not
it.
gonna be embedded in the browser. I think
Yeah.
browser we're gonna probably go to the lighter direction, just probably supporting the main one, which is a JavaScript, and then
Correct.
wasn't runtime.
Correct. So yeah, that's one. Interesting. I might use it for other reason. I just want to cook up a static page generator for my photo album.
The problem with this is that you will never look good.
Yeah, it never look good, right? Where they promise to look good, it promised to look decent. If you not look unique, that's the main
Closest we
one.
had that look good is Flash and also Flutter, which has their own renderer.
Correct.
To
So,
HTML, I think it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So last one is Moonshine. If you do remote sensing, you get another model to train. Very cool. If I got smart bomb, just kidding. So then we have some tinker. How to write POSIX shell, not that important. It's useful, but it will be one of those lost art lah. Then so this is how it's a poem, but they tell you how it works and all that. Then finally, Unix socket, a bit of a lost art as well. I mean, if you do web application, if you still do it traditionally on a Linux machine, you will still have to use it actually. You probably do not use it if you have cloud focus. So if you use things like say serverless and all that, chances is it's a lost art from you guys. But this is how we actually try to not worry about port number. You just put a file and just link, do your stuff there. So this is very cool in a way that this actually goes into more detail. Like how do you do it for Docker? How do you write a domain socket server? Because your
That's a Python 2 script.
Correct. Python. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, actually
From
that's
future.
True. Yeah. your framework already handled that for you, Flask already handled that for you anyway. But for the sake of learning how things work, this is there, right? So you can do HTTP application. Yeah, this is actually a very
it
good
doesn't need to go.
article.
Sometimes, like even if you have one process that communicate with others, but you don't want to go through a HTTP server or something like that. Is
correct. You can still use
the
that. Correct.
fundamentals. Yeah.
Correct. It's just one of those fundamental that I don't think it's that fundamental anymore, but it's there like if you need to. It's just one of those tools. I can foresee this ends up like one of those things that I forgot. Oh well, with that said, I'm done. So anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I'm going to do a quick book review. I think. I do not know how I'm going to do this because I didn't plan this out. Okay, so first book, System Performance. This is second edition by Brendan Gregg. Brendan Gregg is the performance engineer in Netflix. Netflix is so big they can afford to hire engineer dedicated.
His blog is really good.
Yes, it's very good. And also he's the one behind Flame Graph. And he had a second book, companion book, which focused on BPF, eBPF. It's not BPF anymore, it's eBPF. And BPF nowadays is it's not even an acronym anymore, it's just a name for a runtime for you to debug your Linux system.
One of the lesser known one, if you're on a BSD system. Oh no, we have trace now on Linux, right?
No, Linux it's called F-Trace, I think.
So also known for T-Trace.
Yeah, there's S-Trace. S-Trace is a bit old. So this book, second edition, is more important because the first edition we have it. They also cover Solaris. We do not use Solaris anymore. Rest in peace. He died for other reason. Oracle don't care about them. But this also I only go to chapter. I only read chapter 4, to be honest. But the first 3 chapters already covered. I think chapter 2 is a bit boring in a way that they cover the basic operating system, which I realized that because I took a semester in operating system, I kind of know what they're talking about. So if you don't never, these are actually very good fundamental. Then chapter 2 they cover law of scalabilities and how big idea on how do you monitor certain resource. These have certain resource because traditionally these have queue-based system and all that. Then currently on chapter 4. Chapter 4 is more concrete. They talk about actual tools, except I don't think I can show to you guys. It's too small. But that being said, only on 4 chapter I already recommend. I can already recommend this as a tools, but there's a big but. Often you do not need to deal with this because your business are not big enough. And a lot of people manage to get away with it because they just work for 1 year run and throw shit to other people. But that being said, and also this book have tendency to go, when you have to go very deep, it means 2 things really. Your code sucks, right? Or you really have such a popular business.
It actually might be both. Is that you have a popular business, but you are taking over a system that you might have no control over.
Correct.
So part of the thing that why we need this debugging and tracing profiling stuff is that we have no control. We want to see where things went wrong.
Correct. Because in theory, you would know what code it is and what things work, but often when you take over a code, you have no idea what code, because sometimes code, the way we write code is we do a write only. Our code is write only, even though it's supposed to be readable, right? Right, you have no idea what it is and all that. Hopefully, GPT-based tools will generate good command. I doubt it. It'll be like an arm race. Then explain to me what this code does. Then there's a README now. Ta-da! So yeah, this is still very good book because that being said, there will be time where you realize that certain code that you did not write is a mess, and that's a story of your life. If you're a senior engineer for real, a senior engineer do not just write code anymore. In this case, if company are still the load is just small enough, then you just do middle management. But if you happen to inherit some code that you don't like and all that, then yeah, this book is highly recommended. It should be on your list to read. Don't worry about BPF for now, but if you learn it, it's
Very
one
seldom
extra
you need
tools lah.
PDF.
Correct. They cover a lot of the basic tools actually. In fact, I already see value.
Your normal crud very seldom need to involve.
Correct. Seriously. So unless you really screw up, but that's another story. I know that happened for another reason.
Do not
Let's
do
go there.
premature optimization.
Yeah. So is optimization
You
is one
can-
of those things that
You
don't
can
overdo
run,
it.
You can run it on BPF, but please, you don't need it.
Don't do it. Yes. Put it this way, optimization is one of those things. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it. There's a thin line. Actually, it's not that thin really, because there's a lot of things that is very easy to do. For example, things that need to be a foreign key, please use a foreign key, for example, so that it get indexed for free. If PostgreSQL doesn't do the index, I think they do index for free for Postgres. It's very hard to get things
It's
right
not for
unless you
free.
can be smart.
It's the index get updated when you insert. That's why Postgres is people complain that Postgres is slow for write.
Correct.
It is because it's computed during write.
Correct. But okay, it's cheap-ish. Okay, I call it cheap-ish.
It's cheap.
Yeah. So it's not too bad really. It's not free, but you need to know the caveat, right? Understand your system, don't underdo it, don't overdo it. But certain operation is cheap, you should just use it anyway, right? For example, it's very easy for you to write insert in a batch because your ORM should do it for you anyway. I hope. If they don't, then I don't know lah. To be honest, learn SQL. Because until, for example, I have a very quick example. Until SQL Alchemy 2.0, which is very new, there is no good way for you to do a bulk insert without writing SQL. So without resorting to manual SQL, it's only recently they have an API for you to bulk update and bulk insert, right? It's only very recent.
The SQL syntax, the SQL servers and the SQL syntax are actually, if one of the things that for people interested at is that they are pretty advanced these days. There's a lot of queries that we are not familiar, but most of the time the SQL server might already support the new syntax.
Correct. Also,
which might be more performance.
Correct. So either way, a lot of this knowledge are also timeless because once you've learned it, you can apply it for many years. This book is one of those. Even though I say that don't worry about the first edition, the second edition, even though I think it will change like 8 years, but 90% of the book still it's a timeless knowledge.
The idea.
Yeah, correct. Don't you read this book for the tools? Yes, the tools is pretty timeless. It tend to be a bit timeless, but you probably want the big idea, and that's the most valuable part of the book. Everything else is secondary. So this is one of the book I recommend. Second book I recommend is not this one. Actually, this is actually the article I'm reading. But this is actually from my pocket. You can't read that now. But the book I want to recommend now is actually Idea Factory. Oh, actually, I have two books. Have you read? How do I show cover only?
No, not really. I have very little intersection with your reading list.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to show this again, but I'm going to show cover. Is there cover? No. Okay, the cover is got a very horrible cover, and this ransomware hunting team. It's a cool story about people that volunteer to fight malware. So I highly recommend it.
I actually looked at the author section because it reminds me of the Clifford Stowe book as well.
Yeah, correct. Then the current book I'm reading is actually, oh man, can I just see the cover?
The last book I read was I Remember You, which is a horror fiction.
Okay, right. This one. Because the reason why I was very obsessed about Bell Labs and all that, because I'm reading this, right? Bell Labs. This one actually covers from the early days of Bell Lab, from the early days of Bell Lab to until the 1970s. I only read until 1940s because Bell Lab are founded because they believe that to strengthen the business, they need to do fundamental research, which they found ways to have better wire for transatlantic travel and all that. But during the war, things goes uh, things goes to turbo. So in World War One, they develop ways to manufacture vacuum tube more quickly. Then during World War II, they discovered silicone, actually solid state devices, silicone,
So we see.
so that they can make. So that's the beginning for you to build transistor and all the thing to the future. So they also do maths and all that. So, and because they do solid state, then it lead to everything to the 21st century lah. So it's very good book. I didn't finish this. I just procrastinated a bit. Then the next book I have is actually about Palo Alto Research Center. So that one is also very good in a way that because almost anything PC and all that comes from Park, Xerox Park, but review on that later once I read it.
The user interface, the mouse thing.
Correct,
Is it the
correct.
mouse thing?
And Ethernet, yeah, mouse. Actually, mouse comes a bit earlier, very early. It's called the demo. Let me find the big demo. Demo. Yep. The mother of all demo. It's called the mother of all demo. The mother. Let me share screen of all demo. Make share screen soon. Da, da, da. The mother of all demo is actually, if you want to do root cause analysis, the mother of all demo are the reason why. Where the hell window? Window, da, 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 mother of all demo. Everything started from mother of all demo. You can actually see the whole thing, but they do not actually show GUI and all that in the beginning, but they did show things like mouse, basic manipulation of information, video. The whole thing are done remotely. Okay, remotely before ARPANET up is up. But yeah, so it's a very cool demo, and this actually inspire a lot of people, and some of them actually ends up in Palo Alto Research Center and all that, and develop
These are the science fair before.
Yeah,
These are the science
correct.
fair before the science fair.
Correct. So yeah, because of the mother of all demo, it inspired everything. Okay, everything. So yep, there's a future, but that's the stories lah. And I think we're done. So
Well
anything
done.
else you want to talk about? If not, we'll call it off today. So yeah, let's call it off today lah. So as usual, I'm hoping that I have something more substantial to talk about with this book. For example,
Probably break down
it's-
one of the chapters.
yeah,
We
I
can
should
talk
break
about
down
the
chapter.
fundamentals of operating system as well.
Yeah, I should. In fact, this is actually one of those things that is very easily demo in a way, because if you use S3s, you can see some of those things, and they actually have real impact. Because, for example, in database, right? My favorite thing is database nowadays. If you screw up, how do you know something is wrong? That you check your connection and realize that how do you
Something that is
look
very
for level?
sensitive for database system is the file system.
Yeah, then yeah, file system. If you use cloud, everything is abstracted. They forget that. Yeah. So if you use RDS, then they realize that they're going to sell you some basic disk. Then they tell you that you can switch to SSD. SSD for now, I think it's default to SSD drive. Then there is certain drive that have high IOPS, so you need to tune your IOPS. Sometimes you do not need to care about IOPS this much. You need to mess around a bit. Unfortunately, the database internal is very abstracted out, which is actually a bit annoying. So you have to go
Not
into
so
your
much, I
database.
think. So, but in terms of how do we make the query more efficient, is that it's
Yeah,
pretty measurable.
yeah, that too. Actually, there is tools for that. Oh well, that's next time. So with that said, thanks for coming, and I'm going to end broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Okay, bye. By the way, hopefully Tristan will be out